Wow. Don't know where my music went. I got some weird, weird dance pop music. Oh, welcome everybody. This is the Herd Show here online. We are streaming on our YouTube channel, it's the Harrisburg Stampede. We're streaming on Facebook. Where else are we streaming? I think we're streaming on Twitch also. Our show here is brought to you by Keystone Beacon Services. For nearly 60 years, Keystone Community Resources has been Pennsylvania's leading provider in community-based services for individuals with autism, intellectual, and developmental disabilities. While serving over 1,400 adults across 7 counties, they offer an array of services, including both full and part-time support. They operate over 80 community-based group homes and day option programs, in addition to supporting employment, life sharing, and support living opportunities here in the Northeast PA. They are an agency committed to quality and dedicated to their mission, helping those with disabilities. So huge shout out, thank you to Keystone. They've always been they've this year been a great partner of ours, and we definitely appreciate them. Well, with that, welcome. You guys know I'm Justin. I'm the owner of the Harrisburg Stampede, and that guy over there is our head coach who leads us, Bernie Nowatarski. He's at home, probably recuperating from a very long. It feels like blowouts are longer games sometimes.
It's a lot of walking.
You just want to get in and get out, and no injuries. But unfortunately, I want to go over recap a couple things. So, if you guys don't know, what was the score? 84-0. We didn't hit triple digits, but came close. What would you say? So we're not going to trash or talk bad about the Maryland Reapers or Maryland Eagles. They came and played us. But what would you say going into that game was you wanted to work on offense, defense, and your mission?
Offensively, get Isaac to be more comfortable, more comfortable with running the offense versus, from a backup role to a starter, which I think he's settling in nicely. And also, to move the ball around to different receivers. Defensively, just wanted to, we didn't change much from the week before, and we just wanted to get after the ball with consistency. And we had put a lot of time in during the week on special teams. There were some areas we wanted to improve on, and we put a whole lot more time in on special teams during.
I can say this, and this isn't a negative way. You and I always recap. We talk. I'm very transparent with you on things. I had said, from an owner standpoint, I would like to see some more special teams. I know you and I, it was not like I was giving you any charging orders. You already were there, and we got to practice and do some more. Because I felt like game one, the one recap I said last weekend, is the defense played phenomenal once they got a little bit comfortable. I think everybody was rattled by the injury to Caleb game one. But, from 8 minutes on in the second quarter in game one through the end, we really didn't give up any. There was 9 garbage points, in the last minute and a half. I felt the defense, but I felt like offensively they started clicking. And like you said, Isaac needed to get a little bit more comfortable in game one. But I was like, man, our defense just seemed like, not our defense, special teams. We left points. There were some big holes there. And I felt like Marcus was just in the wrong lane or whatever, a little bit. And the guys were learning indoor ball is the one biggest difference between special teams, indoor, outdoor. I think people don't realize is you can't take the ball back around and run horizontal or go, wall to wall and then come back up the side. It's not like in outdoor.
You can try.
Catch it on the right hash, bring it back around the left, and it doesn't matter how fast you are. And Marcus is fast. And I said that to him. I watched March Madness with some of the guys and the championship, and then you and I talked. And I know that I didn't go to any practices last week, but I know you were doing a lot more install and working on that. And geez, man, you could see it. We had a special teams touchdown. He was close to breaking another one. and it looked like the guys were putting hats on hats but sustaining the blocks. So
and we convinced them, you don't necessarily have to make a big booming block on special teams. You sometimes just need to be in the way, and because it is so short a field and width-wise that the returns don't have time to run back and forth across the field. It's one cut, hit a seam. If it's there, get your rear moving. If it's not, take whatever yardage you got, hold on to the ball and go down.
Yeah. Well, I was super stoked. I was actually walking around and I saw him hit that seam and I was like, man, I think that was a direct reflection of
kick coverage was better as well.
Yeah, it was.
We had, convinced them that's the first play. If we get the toss and defer, that kickoff is the first play of the game. And that's when you set the tone of how this is going to go. And I think they got the message this week, and they worked their rears off to get down and beat the defenders with speed, or beat the blockers with speed.
For sure. Well, as an owner and used to coach, there's things that I look for, I look at, and you can't ever have that the bubble guts, the anxiety, or whatever. What I was afraid was I felt like we would handle the team, which we did. We played in every facet we beat them at, and convincingly. But I was just worried that we would at the beginning was just a little bit nervous, like that there was we're going to beat them, let them get a easy one score at the beginning, or do something stupid, make one good block and they guys off running, or they get a lucky catch or throw. So I was worried about, it's not putting our foot on their throat right from the beginning. But very almost instantly, first 30 seconds, minute, we set the tone, and it really carried throughout. Then right before halftime, we got some points. And then, like Jamie's on here saying, at halftime, you guys, they put up a bunch of points. We were winning. We were manhandling them. But, man, to get up a donut. So you being a defensive coach, are you proud of those donuts, even if it's, I would say, not expected, but we felt like we could beat this team? But we'll take a donut, right?
Yeah. Again, you said I don't want to trash anything about the game. We did what we were supposed to do. That we went out and played the way we're supposed to. We went out and took care of business as quickly as possible. Even at the end, Rick was running plays, and we were still scoring. And it wasn't like you're trying to embarrass the team, but in the indoor game, you should score some points just by accident.
Exactly.
And I know, I want to say at least two of the picks, maybe three, were in the end zone. They were down in scoring range, and the guys just, I don't want to say they came to a conscious decision to pitch a shutout, but they were determined on every drive to get a stop or a turnover. And that goes to their mindset on taking the game serious. That was my concern, was not taking the game serious, or getting up by 3-4 scores and then, laying back and taking plays off. It's not like you have, an NFL roster with, 53, 56 players that, you can put a whole new second team in. A substitution in our game might be the right guard going to defensive end, because we don't have anyone to switch with. So, there's not a lot you can do.
I agree with you on that. And then, I definitely don't want to put the team down. We did what we spent. Somebody was messaging and said, an exhibition game. And I said, it's not an exhibition game. Let's just call it what it is. It's an out of league game. But we're playing a team that they came to play. They didn't come to lose. Obviously they lost, but they came wanting to play to win. They wanted to hit our guys. We just happened to have a more talented team, and we played way we felt like. I don't want to say me, but the way you've coached them up, you've recruited, you guys felt that this was the team that you've assembled. This is the way they should play.
It's really the difference. It's a difference between being developmental and being in an established league. I think we could take our team. Now, some of the other leagues, I'm not a particular fan of the rules, and the type of game it is. I'm more accustomed to what we did with the original AIF and then being in the AFL. I like those rules better than some of the other leagues. But if there was a mutual way of playing a game, I would take our guys to any league there is. I'm not saying we would, dominate or win, but I certainly wouldn't be afraid to put my guys on the field versus any. In fact, I'd welcome it. But there are. Of the 3 or 4 different leagues, they all have different rules, and it's tough to adjust to them. But if we were playing our rules, I'd put our guys up with anybody, and I know we wouldn't be embarrassed by it.
No, we have a very talented. Somebody was asking me on a radio show last week how we recruit, and just sort of was giving them a little bit of a blueprint that you, Rick, and I have done. In Milton, our player development guy, we definitely have built a good team. We did get a couple injury bugs. Matt Hodges, and we had Devin Thomas. We're not going to go deep into those injuries. We're going to pull the Bill Belichick, but they're going to be possibly playing this week, game time decisions. So unfortunately, that's probably the only thing that I really, once we start getting up, I'm like, oh, let's just not get any injuries. Let's get through this game. But we did have a little bit of injuries.
And again, that's the hard part. You don't really have the ability to take someone out.
Right.
You take somebody out and you're putting, probably a different starter in a different position. It's right. Just, if you had a 28-man roster and you had a backup for every position, it'd be easy. But, and we were rotating. We were fortunate because we dressed everyone because of it being non-league, that we did have some subs. But that was my concern in the whole game is, please, just don't need any injuries. Because again, of all the time to get injuries, the shortest week of the season for us, to play on a Saturday and, practice tomorrow night and head to Georgia for a game on Thursday. It couldn't come at a worse time. But what it is.
We need to smack Columbus just for that.
Well, that's something you and Casey can talk about. But
yeah, well, I'm gonna stick him with Bill. He doesn't know it, Coach, but I'm gonna go into their suite and eat their food and drink their beer, and then I'm gonna, put my pockets and walk out. They're gonna give them the tabs. Good Lord, they think we're like NFL here. I feel like we're playing Saturday night football and turn around playing Thursday night special. Jeez.
Yeah, at least it could have been in Brazil or Mexico.
Yeah, for real, yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a tough. That's a tough turnaround.
It is.
But it's like anything else. It's the cards that are dealt, and it's one game. And the flip side of that is we get 10 days off till we play again.
That's true.
And
who do we play?
I think it's Columbus. But they've got to come to us this time.
That's right. And
16-hour rides aren't always that much fun.
No, that's okay. We might have to do the old indoor trick, fire alarm going off on them or something.
Mm-hmm.
So injury update. We'll do an injury update. Got a couple questions we want to definitely do. Caleb had surgery last weekend, so he's recovering. He's still actively talking with the players and the team, coaches, trainers, medical. He was not able to make the game. Obviously, it's a very emotional time, and he's trying to get some rest.
He
But
was in a lot of pain yet on Saturday.
yeah, he was in a lot of pain from surgery and all. But I do know that he will be making an appearance for the fans that keep asking. So if you are fans wanting to know an update, keep him in your prayers. He's still in pain, needs some of that. But he's still a part of the team. He is still a Stampedite and horns up, as Coach always says.
And if I'm correct, it was not an ACL or anything like that. It had to do with his patella. Either the patella moved or was fractured, but it wasn't an ACL or anything like that. Not that it makes it any better. I mean, it's still a knee injury, and it's tragic how it happened. But yeah, he absolutely is still one of our leaders and will be to the end of the season.
Yeah. So update, we're traveling, like we started getting into that. We're traveling down to Columbus there, undefeated right now. They put on, I think they're 2-0. We're going to go into their house. They're having a whiteout. Again, if these Lions don't stop copying everything here in Pennsylvania, Jesus. It's just like a Georgia Bulldogs. They want to be like us. So they're having a whiteout. Everybody knows that the Penn State there's no whiteout like the Penn State Lions.
Well, then isn't it something about copying or imitating is the best form of appreciation or a compliment?
So yeah, it is, and that's fine.
If every team in our league did that, we'd be strong as hell.
That's true. That's true.
Chris says, take advice from somebody and try it.
Chris, here's a comment for you. I want to get your opinion on. The gap between Harrisburg and Columbus and everyone else is huge. You want to answer that? You want me to answer that?
I can answer it without even saying a word. Yep.
Yeah. We have 4 cases. We have 4 jerseys. We run out of color themes. Well, that's fine. You put on the whites.
Well, and I said that to you the other day too. I mean, Columbus has been around a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different, I'm not sure of exactly the ownership group. I'm sure it wasn't the same when I went down there in 2006. When Titus O'Neil from WWE was their defensive end. His real name is Thaddeus. But they've been around a long time. They're a solid
years.
They're a solid team and always have been.
And I respect them. I mean, I'm not really dissing any other teams. I got friends on some of the other teams and those. But yeah, they run a good tight ship. We've been in communication. Owners texted me with instructions and and their GM called yesterday on a Sunday and had us, this is where your entrance, this is where you're going to be fed, this is where, everything. So it's been tip top shape. Got their email, and I respect that.
I still talk with their former coach Jason Gibson, and I became close friends, and we talk a couple times a year, sometimes about football, sometimes just checking and see how our families are. So yeah. I mean, it's a class organization, and the way we're running it, with our reload and what we're doing and what they're doing, I don't have any problem saying we're the two class of the league. I don't know what the other teams are doing, so I'm not dissing the other teams in the league, but I know what they're doing and I know what we're doing, and it's the right thing.
I got to give respect to Corpus. I bet their owners. I've seen their arena. They seem to have. I've met a lot of their coach from top to bottom. Corpus Christi has been nothing but professional. I enjoyed being out there. They were amazing hosts, amazing food. I mean,
I always wanted to live there.
I like their coach. I got to talking to him. He's a great guy. Melina is a part of their staff. I don't really know exactly her role title, but she does a little bit of everything. And they fed us. So their arena's nice. They're undefeated. We just don't play them. So I would have to, Chris, throw that in there. Now they haven't played Columbus or us, but I do think they're going to be competitive. I think they're right there with us. I don't diss anybody. You can't control the schedule. You can't control the team sometimes that you play, but you got to do handle your business. If you go in and the team comes into yours, doesn't matter if they get a little lucky, get some stuff or not. You dominate, you win, you get in, you get out. You got to respect that. So I think they're 3-0, 2-0. So yeah. Well, with those things there, Alex is on YouTube watching. Is there a playoff in indoor? Yes. So I will comment on this because Coach doesn't even know this. I haven't had a chance to even tell him this. We're not sure exactly how the playoff format is going to be. There's a possibility it could go for a vote or go to a change. I know which side I would be voting for. We did have at one point 8 teams. It did get, I feel like the new ownership did move out the teams that should not be in the league. I'm not going to go through and name all those teams, but we got down to 5 teams that I think are solid. Cedar Rapids is solid, Amarillo is solid, Corpus is solid, Columbus, us. Originally, it was going to be a 1 through 4. Top 4 teams go 1 and 4, 2, 3 play. I think there's going to be some discussion that maybe move to a 3-team format with 1 seed getting a bye and a 2 and 3 playing to go to a championship. 1, it would make 1 playoff game. 2, it would allow the championship game to get prepared more than just a week, which would hurt. Some arenas need more time. I mean, we've got a pretty flexible and easy to work with arena. Also, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we have 2 teams. It mathematically could happen that we could have like an 0-6 team, 2 0-6 teams. And I don't think that they deserve to go 0-6 in league play, go into the 4 seed and get lucky. Yes, and everybody playing a 1 seed, but I don't think that should even be in the cards per se. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I'm not speaking on the league on behalf of the league or speaking for other owners. I just don't think it's good optics, and I don't agree with it. What do you think of that?
That game would scare me. That game would scare me. Being if we were a 1 seed and had to play a 4 seed who hadn't won, because they absolutely have nothing to lose.
And that's not just from a win standpoint. You know, you got to really at that point. I feel like you would really have to check the roster because teams like to load up, and then 2, I would be really concerned with. We can still beat them, but now they're going after our knees. They're going, they're trying injuries and stuff, and that's not good football.
I don't know if we have it because you and I haven't discussed it, but there also needs to be a roster cutoff time. You shouldn't be able to go into the playoffs and replace your roster.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's supposed to be. I think that's something that the league is looking into, working on tightening up a few of those things. So, okay, so we went over recap, we went over injury report, we went over, we got a big game coming up this week. I want to do some game balls. We didn't do that. You weren't on last week. So give me your game ball, offense, defense, game 1.
Well, you gotta go with Isaac. Game 1 offense, stepping in from the backup role to a starter, 3 touchdowns, ran for 1. You can't. That's just a script that's written itself.
Right.
Defensively, I don't know. You can give it to the whole defense. Josh had a really, really good game. I mean, there were standouts at different times all around the field.
Yeah.
So, maybe Josh.
Okay, so we'll go with that. I mean, all the other guys get their chance. So game 2, who do you have? Game ball, offense, defense.
I don't even know who you go on the offense. There were at one point, I don't know how many different of them scored, and in the third quarter, they only had the ball for a 1-yard drive because the defense had scored like 4 series in a row.
Yeah.
I
personally,
don't know. That maybe the offensive line for protecting Isaac.
Okay. So I'm going to do mine because I know a little different than you. I would, game 1, I still would go. I like Isaac. I feel like coming in for the backup quarterback in that situation was tough. But Todd Simmons is just an animal.
Yeah,
I mean, he was the best wide receiver on the field there. And if you don't agree with that, you weren't watching the same game.
Yeah, you could easily Todd too.
Yeah. So I mean, I got that 1A, 1B there. Stud. Game 1, I thought Josh Hawley, I mean, he had that recovery in end zone. That really swung it. I mean, when they got that score right before halftime, that just changed it all.
2.4 seconds left. You go up 9 and you get the ball in the third quarter and hit a touchdown on play 1. You know, you're now up 16. I mean, that's a huge swing.
Yeah. Game 2, Leanne saying John, the flag guy running the flag. Now that is he does a great job. I saw he was gassed on Saturday night towards the end. There was one he was gassed on, and he didn't have a voice after Saturday night.
It's a lot of running.
It's a lot of running, but he signed up for that, so he doesn't get a game ball for that. He did his job, and we commend men that do their job, but we want you to go above and beyond. So I think we need to see him like jumping over the wall, not going through the pit, the other team's bench. I think he needs to go over the wall a couple times, or maybe he should just run out, throw the flag down, do a somersault, something. He needs to mix it up.
Then I might as well give it to myself. I had to clear the wall twice.
Oh, I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
Oh yeah, I had the blocked field goal and one of the interceptions. I had to. One I was all the way over in the stands, and the next one I was laying on the top. And I felt really bad. Our sponsor for the spot, his wife, when they hit the wall, she went down. So she was tackled. So I had to reached my hand over and helped her up and hugged her. And I went back 2 more times and said, "Are you sure you're okay?" And she goes, "Yeah, I just didn't see it coming." I said, "Well, you were officially in the game now because you were tackled." So,
she made the stat sheet. She made the stat sheet.
She took a hard hit.
So my offense, my defense, I'm going to go with Isaac for game 2. He seemed more poised. I mean, in that one run, that 18-yard run was one of the better runs. I mean, there's a defensive coordinator out there screaming somewhere at a practice about that to a defense. I mean, there were missed tackles, and he just, and I saw that he posted today that he wanted to always emulate his game after Michael Vick. Well, he scored on an 18-yard. An 18-yard run in indoor football is a man run.
Yeah, that's like a 70-yarder.
Yeah. And then defense, I'm going to go with there were a lot of really good ones. I mean, there was a lot. Holden was really good. But I think I'm going to go with and Devin Thomas before he got hurt, because I think he had 2 or 3. Oh, you can't get away from Marcus too. Yeah, he had that one run back. But he had sacks, and he had a couple forced fumbles, and he had ones they didn't call that should have been a fumble.
Yeah.
It just seemed like our DNs are speed rushers, and I know that. I mean, that wasn't like a great line, but man, like, do they high five in the huddle and say, "I'll meet you at the quarterback"? Let's, whoever gets there first buys dinner, because that's pretty much the third quarter. There's not much more you're getting motivated unless you're playing for your teammate at that point.
They're rocket ships for sure.
Yeah. So, and we're going to end it with this. We got like 1 minute here, but your kicker. I don't know his final stats. I don't know his final everything. I know he missed a couple extra points or whatever, but what's it feel like? And this is personal to me. Everybody knows I owned the team 1 year before, and we did not have a kicker. He was great in practice, but he got gun shy in the game. We found him out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He was non-recruited. A sponsor sent him to try out for us.
He's figuring it out. Going down to Columbus, higher ceiling, and he's a high kicker. Our building isn't the lowest roof I've ever played under, but it has a little bit of a restriction. He's figuring it out, and during practice last week, he hit some deuces. His squib kick is good. He did put a bunch of them out of the arena. They missed the deuce, but they were out of the end zone. The ones that were bounced around returns didn't get out past the 10. And he did miss a couple extra points, which, I kind of expect it's going to happen from here or there. But we also brought him in to try a field goal just to try it. And, he punched that in for 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super proud of him.
But I like the name I have for him.
Joey Bag of Donuts.
Yep.
So, well, is there any he said it was nice to see a made field goal. Good conference. I think he means confidence.
That's coming from the all-time leading
scoring
kicker scorer in my history.
Yeah, it's a big compliment. I'm trying to get him to be on our coaching staff, but if it doesn't happen this year, maybe we'll sit there and entice him and his family next year with something, to get him out there.
Maybe he has a little life left in his leg.
Yeah. Well, whatever it is, I think he belongs. You can't take one of the greatest kickers in indoor football and not have a job for him. So with that being said, we've talked about all this. Anything you want to, we did a VIP tour with one of our sponsors. They really enjoyed that. We have some big things coming up in the next couple games. May 4th is our military appreciation game. It felt like there was great energy in the arena.
Is that the Rudy Day?
Yes, it is.
I watched Rudy last night, and I got to talk with him. I gotta have a talk with that guy.
Yeah, I gotta have a talk. Well, Rudy Rudiger will be in the house May 4th. We're going to sit there and be putting some new stuff up. We're going to be opening up some new seats. There we go. We'll see him at the next game, Eric. But we're going to have some more box seats. We want people to be on the boxes, sponsors, fans. We do know who's supposed to be sitting in what box, and we are looking over that sheet and checking that. So if you are sponsor or season ticket holder, please, if you can't make it, get your lanyards to somebody that can. We want it to be loud. We want it to be proud on that wall. And we're going to open up for our next game. We're going to open up about 36 more box seats we've added, and also some bleacher seating. Anything you want to tell the fans, anything you want to stare and give them something. I know they love your horns up. That was we end with, but give them something from Coach B and let them know.
We'll see you in 2 Saturdays, and it should be that should be a headbanger. Two class teams going at it, and you're going to be in the barn. And it's a tough place to play.
That's right. We need them to be out there on April 27th, loud, playing the Columbus Lions. And we need them to be loud and just make that place insane. So appreciate you. Guys, if you have any questions, you can post it here now. I've given you a few minutes, but I don't think anybody did. Coach B and I, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate we're 2-0, heading down to Columbus, Georgia. And if you want to see the game, you can check it. The stream will be right here on, I think we're going to be taking the stream from Columbus, but I think it's going to be on our website. I'll be confirming all of that. But if it's not, you can definitely check it out on the Columbus feed on their site. And it's also the game of the week for the AIF. Appreciate y'all. And what do you say, Bernie? What do you do?
Horns up.
See you guys.